You're listening to The Straight Line on MRN.com, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts, parts, better prices every day. And also brought to you by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
Coming up here this week's MRN.com Straight Line Show, we've got Team Force. Brittany Force joins us along with Robert Hight. They sweep the Nitro classes over at Houston this weekend. We've got them both on the show. Don't miss this week's show. It's going to be a great ride. Ralph, what do you think this week? Team Force just dominated over here in Houston. They didn't really leave anything on the table for any of the other teams.
Yeah, they sure didn't. That was an impressive performance. You know, those guys, I think a lot of people were wondering beginning of the season, how was their year going to go, considering the change at the very beginning when Courtney just, a couple of weeks before Pomona announces she's stepping away from the car. And that, of course, is going to put an organization like that into a little bit of disarray when a major cog in the wheel decides it's going to change things up a little bit. But boy, they have bounced back strong, and here we are, a quarter of the way into the season, if that, and they're right at the top.
Yeah, Hight's already run 3 races this year. Some of the listeners and viewers will be wondering, where is Ralph? Ralph is not here. Ralph decided to go take a really fabulous ski vacation. I'm really jealous. But he's not in the studio this week, but he is joining us from the airport, getting ready to come back to Charlotte, North Carolina. Tell us a little bit about the trip out there, dude.
Well, we had, Supercross over in Denver last Saturday, and then I got invited to come back home to Sacramento, where I grew up, and I was one of the honorees at the Northern California Auto Racing Group's Dinner with Champions. It was Bill McAnally, one of the top team owners in NASCAR, the K&N Series and Truck Series, and Brad Sweet, who leading the World of Outlaw Points and Knoxville Nationals winner from last year, and myself. And it was hosted by Gary Gerald, who is, of course, a longtime voice of the Sacramento Kings basketball team, but a longtime drag racing announcer. So I know you know him from that. And Gary's done a lot of different things. So the 4 of us were at the event. It was fantastic. So I was already out here. I thought, well, heck, I might as well bring the boards and get a little skiing in. So I spent 2 days up at Tahoe.
Well, that's not bad. And then we've got Easter weekend coming up. I don't know why you just didn't stay out there and spend another weekend out there with the family.
Well, it crossed the mind. Don't you worry. I got to get back in time for the pancake breakfast. That's coming up.
That's right. We got to have the pancake breakfast. So coming up next week here at MRN is Procore Week. All like we had STP weeks a few weeks ago. Next week is Procore Week on MRN. We'll be talking more about that. We're going to wrap up this show here a little bit later with drivers Robert Hight from John Force Racing, as well as Brittany Force from John Force Racing. The 2 winners, Low ET, Top Speed, they wiped it out over there in Houston. Great deal there. Also coming up next week is the 4-wide race. And here in Charlotte, Concord, North Carolina, you can go to NHRA.com, click on the red ticket tab in the right top-hand corner to get your tickets for this next week coming up, as well as a pancake breakfast on Saturday morning at Schumacher's Pit Area. Don Schumacher Racing, we will have the Breaks Pancake Breakfast. Always a fun time, lots of food, and we'll get all the drivers over there to have a good time. Definitely something we can't miss, Ralph.
Oh, yeah. No, it's going to be a fantastic weekend, and looking forward to seeing all the great drag racing fans in Charlotte.
Well, what do we got? What do we got to talk about here down in Houston, other than the dominating performance from the Force cars? I don't know what. I mean, that to me, that was really the biggest story of the whole weekend. Is just they dominated. There's nothing else that big.
Yeah, it really is the whole thing. They just showed the way, didn't they? And I think with all the changes to Brittany's team too, that was another thing, bringing David Grubnick over there and all that. We focus a lot on, of course, the changes with Courtney, but, that Brittany's team has gone through their fair amount of shakeup as well.
Well, yeah, that's true. And then, they've added the new team with Austin Prock coming over there, a new dragster at John Force Racing. So they've got a lot of balls in the air. We're definitely going to have to talk to Robert Hight about all those balls in the air, and then the fact that it doesn't seem to be affecting their performance. 3 wins this year already from Robert Hight, and then, the John Force Racing teams are just on fire. Everybody else is chasing them right now. So
Yeah, and one thing about John, we talk a lot about him as a driver. I don't think the guy gets enough credit as a guy that runs an organization too.
Right. Exactly. Well, coming right back up, we're going to have Brittany Force and Robert Hight, John Force Racing. Don't go away. This week's edition of The Straight Line.
Protect your vehicle's engine with Castrol Edge Full Synthetic Motor Oil. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, get 5 quarts and a Wix filter for $33.99. Plus get a $15 gift card and 150 O-Rewards points. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's springtime in Alabama, and that means the birds are chirping, the dogs are barking, and rubber is burning. Come celebrate 50 years of speed this April 26th through the 28th at Talladega Super Speedway.
Hi folks, Mike Bagley here. At MRN, we rely on equipment from Racing Electronics.
Joey Logano to the lead on the back straightaway.
Racing Electronics' scanners and headphones, we can listen to every uncensored conversation between driver and crew.
You won the championship, baby, yeah!
And when we need live audio, in-car cameras, and up-to-the-second statistics, we use their latest handheld unit called Legend. To learn more about these products and many others, visit RacingElectronics.com. Racing Electronics, the official two-way communication partner of MRN.
Facebook and Twitter, MRN is there. Follow MRN on social media for all the latest happenings from the track and in NASCAR. Breaking news, video, photos, live races and shows, stats, opinion, and more. Follow along on MRN's Facebook and Twitter.
Joining us this week on the MRN Straight Line Show, we've got Brittany Force, driver of the John Force Racing Advanced Auto Parts Top Field Dragster and the winner down at Houston this last week for the Spring Nationals. Brittany, congratulations on a great win.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
How about that? You guys have put together a heck of a, there was a lot of changes over the winter there at the John Force Racing, particularly on your team. You've got the Advanced Auto Parts on there. You've got David Grubnick, been a friend of mine for many, many years, and just seems like things are clicking right along.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, big change coming into this season. An entire new team. I mean, every single person on my team, new crew guy, teaming up with a new crew chief, David Grubnick, Max Savage, and coming on board with Advanced Auto Parts. Not only that, but now we're switching back to all John Force Racing parts. So I knew it was going to take a while. We went out testing in the winter before the season started. And again, I knew it was going to take a while to get into a roll of things and figure the car out and our routine and just everything that comes with it. And honestly, I didn't think it would be this quickly that we'd land in the winner's circle. But I'm so proud of my entire team, and we're all pumped. We're ready to get to the next one.
Brittany, I'm sure you've had many magical moments racing with your family, but you and your dad both going number one and qualifying this last round, that has to be special.
Absolutely. The whole reason I'm out here is because of my dad. He's one that gave me this opportunity to drive for him, and he's taught me everything about drag racing. And so I really owe it all to him. And something that's been always in the back of my mind since I came out here in 2013, my rookie season, was how cool, how special it would be, to double up with him, to, do something significant with him. So we pulled off a number one qualifier, and that was pretty exciting. It's never been done before. First father-daughter, which was awesome to be able to do that together with him in Houston. But we're still looking for a double up, a win. So that's the ultimate plan.
Well, I'm sure you'll be getting to the winner's circle before long. You backed up. This is back-to-back wins at Houston. What is it going to Houston that just seems to work out for you and your team and getting the 2 wins in a row?
I know, and it's just, some drivers just have lucky tracks. It's actually, I think, a lucky track for Robert as well. He's won there a few times. His first win was there, and for us, it was our only win last season. And I don't know. I guess my race car likes Houston.
So as you look at the rest of the schedule going forward, what are the other tracks that you eye that are just like Houston for you, that you have that feeling?
Well, we go into Charlotte next. We're back at 4 wide, which is a whole new ball game, especially for the driver. But I won that one. I want to say back in 2016. We won the 4 wide there. So there's definitely something to that when you're going back to a track where you've won before, especially when it's something a little different like 4 wide. But I've won in a handful of places, but I'm anxious to get back to 4 wide. The good thing is it's not the only 4 wide we do all season long. We just came out of one in Las Vegas. We were runner up there. So I'm hoping to get the job done again with this advanced team and go all the way.
Hey, Brittany, the car ran great. You did a great job driving down in Houston. In the semis, you had a 002 light. Was that on purpose, or how did you pull that off? That was incredible.
Yeah, let's go with it was on purpose. I'm really pushing the thing to see what I could do.
Right.
No, that is called luck right there. I was so amped up. I was so ready. And stupid driver move. I changed my routine on race day. I changed it up a little bit because I wasn't happy with my reaction times. And lesson learned on my part. I'll never do that again. That was way too close for sure. I'm sure I gave my team a heart attack on the starting line, but somehow we got away with it. I guess when it's your day, it's your day.
Brittany, what did you change? How big of a swing did you take?
Well, I put it in a little bit more than I'm used to, and just my whole staging routine. For me, I'm sure other drivers do it differently. For me, I like to do the same exact thing every single time, and I altered it a little bit. And for me, that was the world of difference because then I'm thinking about what I'm doing. I'm not doing my normal routine where I just go in and stage and stare at my amber. I changed it up. So then I'm thinking about, okay, what do I do next? And that's what got me. And my foot left way too soon, but luckily we got away with it.
Brittany, qualifying number 1, low ET, top speed of the race, bringing home the race win, number 1 with your dad in winner's circle with Robert Hight. There wasn't a whole lot. You didn't leave much on the table for anybody else over in Houston.
I know. We qualified number 1 with my dad. That's just cool to have, John Force Racing just sweep the board on, number 1 qualifier Friday and Saturday night. We put a 366 on the board. I was blown away when I got out on the top end and they told me it was a 366. We set both ends of the track record. And, that feels good going into race day. But also for me, I've never had much luck going into race day from the number 1 spot. I seem to always struggle when we go in. I don't know what it is. For the last 2 years, my team always thought it was a curse if we were number 1. So I was like, oh, shoot, we got to break that this year. And, we went out and went rounds all day long. And we even ran a 366. I want to say it was in the semis. Second round or semis, we ran a 367. So, we were on it all day, super consistent runs, and we were able to grab a win with Robert Hight right ahead of us.
Brittany, the NHRA continues to have more successful women racers than just about any other form of motorsport out there. Is there a young lady out there that you're keeping an eye on in the lower ranks of drag racing that you think could be the next Brittany Force?
The next Brittany Force. I've never heard anybody word anything like that. Yeah. All the time I have, girls that come up to me, little girls at the ropes that are, in junior dragsters. They're in their suits and they want me to come up and sign it. And I always take a minute, spend a little bit of time with them, take pictures and, talk to them about driving, wish them luck. But, there's a handful of girls. Audrey Worm, I've talked quite a bit with her. In Top Fuel, Ashley Sanford, also coming up in Top Fuel. So there is definitely a handful of girls. Anytime there's, another female out there, I'm all about supporting the ladies, and especially if we're, in this thing together. There's only a few of us out there, so I'm all about it. The more ladies, the better.
Well, Brittany, congratulations on the great win over in Houston. Super job by you and your entire team. You guys really have gotten it together, and so proud of you. Looking forward to seeing you here in a couple weeks coming over here to
Thank you.
ZMAX Dragway. And hopefully you guys can make it over to our pancake breakfast on Saturday morning. We would love to have you come join us.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and I'm anxious to get there and get the weekend started. So thank you for having me.
There you have it. Brittany Force, driver of the Advanced Auto Parts Top Fuel Dragster. And coming up next, more of the Great Straight Line Show.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there. Whether you're running on dirt or running a job, our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
O'Reilly.
Is your check engine light on? Don't ignore it. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today and let our professional parts people scan your vehicle for free. We'll retrieve the codes, discuss possible solutions, and even help you find a professional technician if needed. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts today for our free check engine light help. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
He is the envy of the racing world.
I assumed that Ryan, Bubba, and Chase were all busy, and I was the next in the pecking order.
She goes way back.
When did you meet? 7th grade, 6th grade?
No, 9th grade. That was a minute ago.
And he just wants to be friends.
Are we friends? No.
It's the Sunday Money Podcast. Join Corey LaJoy, Daryl Mott, and Lauren Fox as they detail what it's like to live the racing lifestyle both on and off the track. Download and subscribe to Sunday Money on iTunes, Spotify, and your favorite podcast platform.
It's butts and nuts jammed in there.
Robert Hight joins us this week, the driver of the John Force Racing Auto Club Chevy Camaro. 3 wins this year and getting it done big time down in Houston this weekend. Great job for you and your team, Robert.
Thanks, Doug. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Man, how did you guys have just not slowed down at all? 3 wins already this year. The momentum is going strong. You're leading the points. I mean, I know it's early in the year. Leading the points doesn't mean much, but winning 3 races already in the year, that's pretty stout.
It is crazy, because honestly, I still feel that Funny Car is the toughest class, in the pros. The cars are very evenly matched. I think there's at least 12 cars that could win on any Sunday, and I think we have, of those 12 cars, the best drivers. You've got to be on your game. J.R. Todd and Langdon, Hagan, all these guys. I mean, you've got to Caps, all these guys. You've got to be on your game and ready. So to get 3 wins this quick is pretty amazing with the competition level we have.
Robert, did the rest of us media make a mistake here in that, when Courtney announced she was stepping away from the car, the whispers that went through were, boy, this could be a tough year for John Force Racing because you're taking a major component of the organization just weeks before, the season opener and moving things around. And you guys didn't seem to blink at all. It just business as usual, maybe even better. What did we all miss?
I don't think it's better because she's gone. We all miss her, that's for sure. I know the fans miss her. She was a huge fan favorite. I think, although I still think the fans are pretty excited that John Force is back in the game because, we took her crew chief and put him with John Force, and that makes John an instant contender, which is the fans love that. We made some changes with our dragster and are now running, the JFR parts that we build. So it was pretty awesome to see that car go out there and dominate from qualifying clear through race day with our own parts. And, it really dominated. That's one thing. You don't have that much anymore in NHRA drag racing, but that car had a half a tenth on the field just about every run. So it was a lot of fun because we doubled up the 3rd time we've done that, and it's hard to believe it, but Brittany and I are the ones that have done it every single time. So she said, Funny Cars run first in the final. So she said, once I got the win, that took a little pressure off of her because she says, I usually know that, when Robert does good, I do good. So it was a lot of fun to celebrate.
Well, another thing that happened this year, obviously, with your crew chief, Jimmy Prock, you guys have had tremendous amount of success together. And now this year, adding another top fuel dragster driven by Jimmy's son, Austin Prock. That was kind of a deal that came together at the last second. So between Courtney not running and then actually running another top fuel dragster, it's just all these balls in the air, but there's not been you haven't missed a beat.
No, I think it's a smarter way to go. You know, 3 funny cars, they can help each other, and you can learn from each other and work together. But one dragster, you know, you're on an island. So having 2 dragsters work together and share data, help each other, 2 funny cars doing the same thing, I think it makes us stronger as a whole.
Robert, do we maybe not give John enough credit as a team owner and manager, if you will? I mean, obviously he's celebrated tremendously as a driver and a man who does incredible things marketing-wise. But I think he's done a remarkable job this year of keeping this team organized and moving in the right direction. Does he not get enough credit for that?
Without a doubt. And that doesn't just go to this year. If you look back in history, John has been, you know, the king of putting the right people in play to make things happen. And as the sport progressed, you know, he and Austin Coyle, when there was just the 2 of them, they had some success together. And then some teams started to get close, and they were building momentum. And John could see right away that they needed more help. And, you know, back then, you know, you had one crew chief. Well, John added a second crew chief, and not just any second crew chief. It was Bernie Federley, you know, a guy that was very successful. And put him with Austin Coyle. It worked. The 2 of them got along great. And, look, they went on to dominate. Then John decided he needed a second car, and he added Tony Pedregon and John Medlin. And, yes, John is the king of putting the right people in play. And, you know, it shows. It's sometimes some of these moves he makes, you're wondering, how's this going to all work out? But it always seems to work.
Hey, Robert, your Auto Club Chevy Camaro was running really good down in Houston, very consistent, very fast. But maybe one of the most impressive statistics that I heard from down there, and you can correct me if this is not true, but that you are the only driver to beat John Force head-to-head 4 times in a row?
I heard that too. I want to keep that quiet.
Yeah, right. Man.
No, you know, basically, John, you know, it's tough that we've had to race him, you know, 4 races already this year. But, you know, he wants me to go up there and do my best, try to get him. But I know how this sport works. So do you, Doug. You know, it could turn around and I could lose the next 6 to John. He's got a really good race car. He qualified number 1. Still a great driver. So, you know, I'm not that isn't a stat that I'm looking at, because I know how things can turn. First off, you know, yes, we ran good, but we didn't run good on Friday. We were not qualified in the field come Saturday morning, and weather didn't look good. You know, the storms ended up missing us, but, you know, we didn't get in till Q3. And then once we did, boy, it was, you know, look out. Jimmy Prock got a handle on it. So you just never know. This sport's very humbling.
So, Robert, up next is the 4-wide in Charlotte. Size that weekend up for us with your organization.
Yes, looking forward to it. I've won the 4-wide there twice, I think. And you guys going to come out and visit us?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I love it. That's probably the largest attended race of the year. You know, Saturday they pack that place, and it's kind of deceiving because Z-Max Dragway is huge. And when you sell that place out, you've done something. And the fans do love the 4-wide down there.
Well, we're going to have our pancake breakfast on Saturday morning. Hopefully we can get you and Forrest and Brittany to come over there and join us for a little bit, and Austin Prock, and we'll have a little bit of fun, and I'll feed you breakfast.
Okay, that's a deal. I'll definitely be there.
Right on. Hey, you know, what else can we say about the dominating performance? 3rd career win at Houston. What else do you have to do? What's your plan for Robert Hight and your team for the rest of the year, as well as John Force Racing and that team, all the other teams for the rest of the year, Robert?
Well, I've been bit by the countdown several times, and it's also saved me, to win a championship. So I think it would be pretty cool to maintain the points lead from start to finish, and just be steady all year long, not just come on strong at the end. Looking at what we have to work with, Doug, that clutch disc change and everything. But we're pretty fortunate that we have whatever we started the year with, we have enough parts and pieces that are exactly the same to run all year. So that's going to help our consistency. And I'm creeping up on 50 wins. I think be cool to get that this year. In fact, if I don't get 50, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to win the championship. That's what it's going to take to get that, because you're going to have to win 2 or 3 races in the countdown. So I'm at 48. That'd be cool to get that this year and get another championship.
Well, Robert, thanks for joining us, buddy. Ralph, do you have anything left to
No, I was just kidding. That would be pretty amazing if he could pull that off. That's what a way to pad the stats and rock another championship there.
What's kind of depressing though is John, his next win will be 150, and that's just unattainable to anybody. And when you're a competitor, you don't want to ever think that you can't be the top, win the most championships, win the most races. But you have to be realistic. No one's going to ever do that.
Well, he put the bar pretty high. And guess what? You got a pretty good guy in your corner helping push you along, too. So 50 wins this year, I feel pretty confident about that for you.
That'd be cool, yes.
Robert Hight, winner down here at the Spring Nationals in Houston, driving the JFR Auto Club Chevy Camaro. Great job, great win. Congratulations to you and your entire team.
Thanks, guys, and we look forward to seeing you at ZMAX in a couple weeks.
We will see you there.
Thank you.
Coming up after this, we'll wrap up another great edition of the Straight Line.
O'Reilly.
Restore your vehicle's lost power by cleaning your entire fuel system with Chevron Techron Fuel System Cleaner. Right now, buy 1 bottle, get 1 free at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Keep your engine clean and improve performance with Chevron Techron Fuel System Cleaner. Buy 1, get 1 free at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hi, folks. Mike Bagley here. At MRN, we rely on equipment from Racing Electronics.
Joey Logano to the lead on the back straightaway.
Racing Electronics has scanners and headphones. We can listen to every uncensored conversation between driver and crew.
You won the championship, baby, yeah!
And when we need live audio, in-car cameras, and up-to-the-second statistics, we use their latest handheld unit called Legend. To learn more about these products and many others, visit racingelectronics.com. Racing Electronics, the official two-way communication partner of MRN.
Winged Nation with Steve Post, Aaron Evernham, and Ashley Stremme. Your destination for all things winged sprint cars. Each Saturday at 8:30 and 11:30 a.m. on MAV TV. Live at noon on wingednation.com and Facebook Live. Join us for in-depth conversations with drivers and personalities that make up the greatest dirt racing on earth. The Winged Nation Preview Podcast each Thursday previews the upcoming weekend. Winged Nation, winged sprint car talk covering dirt tracks all across America.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Straight Line right here on MRN and MRN.com, wherever you can tune us in. You know what? Some great things to talk about this week. First of all, red light, green light. What do you think, Ralph? This week, the green light probably has to be the Team Force domination down there in Houston.
Yeah, there's no way around that one, right? They just put it to everybody. And if this is what we can expect out of this group this year, this might be one of the most amazing stories we've seen in recent seasons. As you and I talked about at the beginning of the show, there was a lot of whispering in the offseason once Courtney announced she was stepping away that, could this team get themselves organized quick enough to be a force, pardon the pun, this season? And they did. They haven't missed a step.
No,
Robert Hight have been right there.
Yeah, all of them are running well. They've had low ET and top speed at several of the races this year. This weekend, low ET top speed in the dragster and the funny car class, track records on both ends. They dominated it. And it seems it's not that surprising to me, but it's pleasantly surprising. David Grubnick goes over there, and he only started a couple weeks before the Winter Nationals even ran this year, and has managed to turn that team around. Now here, the 4th race of the year. They went to the finals last week in Las Vegas. They go win this week. I think that's got just a lot to say about that team and the ability of David Grubnick to do what he needs to do. And I got to be honest with you, Brittany did a great job driving the car. You know, she admitted earlier, well, she maybe had a little mistake, but guess what? It turned out with a 0.002 reaction time, so it wasn't all that bad.
Well, did we make more out of Courtney leaving than we should have, do you think? Or was that really as big a deal as it was, and these guys have just done a remarkable job of dealing with it?
Well, you know what? I think that you get a 0.002 light, unless she feels like she hit the gas without knowing when she was hitting the gas. Maybe there's something that she learned. She told us that she admitted she didn't, that she kind of changed up her routine. Maybe that's good. If she can go up there and get reaction times like that all the time, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I don't know. I still think Courtney leaving was a pretty big deal. I just think they've done a great job of reacting to it.
Okay, Ralph, how about this week's red light? We've talked about the green light. What about the red light?
Well, I think the thing there, the first time, and I can't remember how long, no pro stock cars. Now, we knew this was coming. It's not a surprise, but it's just a reality that they weren't there.
Yeah, having no pro stock cars for the first time that I can remember at an NHRA national event, it's like, wow, it's just amazing. On the other hand, from what I understand, the fans there at the track, they've got the Nitro Harleys, they had the Mountain Motor Pro Stock cars, they had Pro Mod cars. I mean, there was plenty of a show, and me as a fan, I'll tell you what, I like watching the Nitro Harleys, I like watching the Pro Mod cars. So as a fan, I wouldn't feel like I got ripped off. It would be, if you are a pro stock fan and you go and you don't get to see Greg Anderson and Eric Enders. Well, I bet Eric Enders was there because that's her hometown track, but she was probably there racing something else. But, in general, if you were a pro stock fan and you went there, you didn't get to see pro stock cars. Yeah, I mean, I guess you'd kind of be bummed. But I'll tell you what, overall, the show had to be incredible.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how the fans react to this over the course of the whole season, right? One event is one thing, and I know we've talked to Glenn and the guys in NHRA management about how they have a plan for this, and it's when you hear them talk about it, it makes sense. It's just going to have to be a question of how do the fans ultimately react over the course of the full season.
Yeah, and I mean, it's unfortunate. I think Greg Anderson, Jason Line, Eric Enders, there's Jeg. I mean, there's a lot of multi-time champions that are still racing pro stock. It's not the day where we have Lee Shepard and Bob Glidden and Warren Johnson, which, Grumpy Jenkins. I mean, those are legendary names that do not race pro stock anymore, and that's unfortunate. But you know what? Times are past. I mean, Big Daddy Don Garlis doesn't race top fuel anymore either. So I think it's just something.
Doug Herbert, and thinking how that shook things up.
I know, right? Where is that Doug Herbert guy? Jeez. But, things just change. I think at the end of the day, NHRA needs to be an entertainment company and put on a really good show for the fans. And I think they've realized that pro stock class has gotten so expensive. We've talked about this before. I think it's gotten so expensive that that's probably what's having something to do with their having a hard time filling those 16-car fields. And maybe these reduced race schedules will help bring some new guys out. I really don't know. I'm wondering how it'll work out.
I give them credit for being willing to make bold swings, right? That's not a decision you make lightly. And the one thing we've learned is they're not afraid to do that for what they think is the betterment of the sport for the fans and the competitors. And I'm sure if after doing this for a while, they see something different they want to change, we know those guys are not afraid to go back in there and adjust.
Well, that's exactly right. Hey, so this week coming up, we've got Easter weekend. Then we've got the NHRA races coming up next week, April 26th through 28th, the NG Spark Plugs, NHRA 4-Wide Nationals over here in ZMAX, Charlotte, North Carolina, Concord, ZMAX Dragway, the Bellagio Drag Strips. Don't miss this race. I'm telling you, this is a great race to go to. It's going to be sold out. Saturday morning, we've got our Breaks Pancake Breakfast at the Don Schumacher Racing Pit Hospitality area. Do not miss that. That will be something to see. May 3rd through the 5th is the Arby NHRA Southern Nationals in Atlanta. May 17th through the 19th is the Virginia NHRA Nationals up Dinwiddie, Virginia, just outside of Richmond. Another great one. Go to NHRA.com. Click on the red ticket tab up in the top right-hand corner. Get your tickets for these races. The NHRA 4-Wide Nationals, I guarantee you it will be a sellout. So don't wait too long to get your tickets for that.
You got our good seats all set up?
Yeah, I got you and me. We're set, buddy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And I'm bringing the kids, too, so, we're all in.
I will get you all hang out. See, here's the deal that I do at the NHRA races. Most, especially over here at ZMAX, the security guards mostly know me, so I just walk in backwards and tell them I'm leaving, and it almost works every time.
Only you, Doug.
That's
Only
right.
you.
Be sure to tune in next week at MRN. Heads to Talladega Super Speedway as part of the Procore Week here on MRN. Great show this week, Ralph. Thanks for joining us. Don't miss another great edition here next week on MRN.com. For Ralph Shaheen, for Daryl, I'm Doug Herbert. See you next time at Straight Line.